in the mood to go live to you guys because something came across my table today, my plate today, and it's all about perfectionism and the cost of it. Like, what's it costing you emotionally? For me, I just had a breakthrough just a few minutes ago around perfectionism, and I've realized the cost of perfectionism and what it can do to a person, especially if you're feeling stressed. My name is Leslie, and I am an empowerment coach. I help my clients achieve their self awareness around their emotions, especially when it comes to stress, so that they can handle their emotions more effectively, more positively, and that keeps them in their present life so that they can live a more positive life. So, if you're new to my lives, I just want to say thank you for taking a chance on me. And if you are a repeat listener, I wanted to say thank you if you're watching this back. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. But as I said, I want to come on here is it was really important for me to come on here right now, just like right after my call that I had with someone. Actually, I'll be transparent. I have coaching, and I believe that when you are a coach, to be the best coach that you want to be, you should have a coach. And that's only because I want to make sure that I'm always leveling up every single day so that I can be the best version of myself for you. Thanks for joining. So today I just wanted to talk about perfectionism and how I've been kind of going through some stuff around it, trying to be perfect, trying to figure out how my posts, how to get them to really resonate with you, to maybe help you get through your stresses, asking you questions to get you engaged. Hi, Monica. To get you engaged and have you, really kind of let me know how you're feeling. I'll tell you how I'm feeling. So for me, I did an exercise last night. It was around money mindset. I listened to a webinar yesterday, Mind Movies by Natalie Ledwell, and she did a free webinar, and it was all around our how we show up, our mindset, and how we actually are the ones that we make it or we break it, our mindset, right? And there's things around our limiting beliefs, or the things that keep us hostage to specific, time events in our life. Like we're not getting ahead, that we're not doing the things or reaching the goals that we want to reach because we're holding ourselves back around our limiting beliefs. So yesterday I decided around money. I wanted to go back in time to figure out, where did my first lack money mindset come from? Like, what's my first memory? And so I went back in time and realized it was when I was in grade 7. So I was young, but I was old enough to start understanding. Still a young mind, but I was old enough to start understanding, around money and the meaning that gets us assigned to it based on your specific standing in the community. So what I mean by that is I grew up poor. And so growing up poor made me feel less than. And I'll go a step further. So a lot of my friends were privileged, or what I viewed as being privileged. See, I grew up in housing, social assistance. My mom was a single mom, 3 kids. She was trying to make ends meet, needed help. And so we grew up in a community that was, they called it Ontario housing. So I lived in Canada, and the province was Ontario. So they called it Ontario housing. And so at 11 years old, I'm living in this community where my mom is receiving social assistance to help with paying the rent, and so that she could, be able to put food on the table, as I said, put a roof over our heads, clothes on our back. And so the people that I met when I went to school, all of my friends that became my long-term friends, some of them I've known for decades now, they lived in they lived in a house, an actual house of their own. I thought they were rich. Like, to me, that was privilege. They lived in a house. So where I lived was in a community of people who were poor. And I saw my friends living in a house, I thought, wow, they're rich. Go a step further. I remember going shopping. So there was a mall that opened up. It's called the Eaton Center. So if you've been to Toronto, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's called something else now. I don't even know. I haven't been there for a few years. But the Toronto Eaton Center, as I fondly remember it, when it opened, me and my friends, there was about six of us, we'd all go down, and a lot of the time we might go to just hang out, or we would specifically, we were going to go shopping to buy something. Well, my mom really didn't have the money to be able to give me something to go spend all the time. So I had to either do babysitting. So I really did start, I started babysitting at a very young age for people in my community. Sometimes I would take on the problem kids, but I didn't see them as problems. I just felt like, like there was one kid, he'd be kicking and screaming, so I'd emulate him, and he'd look at me like I was crazy. It was like that was the end of his temper tantrum because it was like, oh, that doesn't bug her. Anyways, I'm getting off track. What I meant to say was my friends and I, we go shopping, and they would have their parents' credit card to buy whatever they wanted. Now, I might have had limited funds. I had to specifically stick to something. So right there was a limiting belief that because they were privileged, they had access to funds that I didn't. I had a limited amount. And so for me, that meant that I wasn't worthy of that. And I didn't really look at it any way as to just say, oh, well, because they came from privilege, they were deserving. But I was poor, didn't come from privilege, so I wasn't deserving. So I learned to accept my lot. Really sad, right? But yeah, that was my limiting belief. And I'll go another step. One of my friends, I thought of privilege was especially Christmas time. This probably is a very sensitive time for some people who are maybe going through. They are poor, and they'll get this. So one of my friends, her parents were able to buy a lot of gifts, and so I remember, at least my young mind, if I remember it right, her parents would buy gifts to the point that they were overflowing at least 5 feet to 6 feet away from the tree. And I just thought that was amazing. Like, wow, these people are like, and again, I'm putting them in the privileged category, and I wasn't. So it was really, really hard for me for a long time around money. My mom struggled a lot, and she used to go to her dad whenever she needed money to whatever, pay rent, buy groceries, whatever it was. And my grandfather was always there to help her. And I'm not saying anything negative about my mom. She did the best she could. But from my own perspective of what I went through, of watching that, to me, I learned that money wasn't readily available to people like us. So we had to struggle. So I correlated struggling with money. So that was my first limiting belief. Second, my next limiting belief was that money is only for the privileged, and I wasn't privileged, so I didn't deserve it. So that was my second limiting belief. Another limiting belief I had too was, and I don't know if it was a limiting belief, but my gramps used to say, you can't take it with you, so you might as well spend it. So I guess my third limiting belief became around not having respect. Don't respect money because it's not always going to be readily available to you. So you might as well spend it while you have it. So I did. Now, when I started getting credit, now you guys know what I'm talking about. Get to that age, and credit card companies start sending you credit cards. Hey, you could get this. Hey, I want to give you this. And I was like, wow, this is great. But I didn't respect it. And so for me, then I would like rack up my cards to the max, not respecting it. Going from that, I realized part of the lack money mindset pushed me into my perfectionist mode, meaning everything that I worked for, everything that I received and achieved, I felt that I had to work extra hard. It's like making me emotional right now. Whew. I had to work extra hard to deserve it. I'm being real with you guys right now because I want you to understand that being a perfectionist can cost you a lot. And so I felt that I had to be perfect in everything that I did, no matter what it was, in order to feel that I was at least somewhat worthy of the things that I achieved. but I wasn't always believing of it or accepting that the things that I achieved, my accomplishments, and I've had many great accomplishments, but I didn't accept those accomplishments as truly being something that I was worthy of, that I deserved, because I still was putting myself in that category of not being privileged. Because I felt that the only people who were privileged are those people who grew up with money, who lived in a house, who had nice cars and clothes and could go out and spend money when they wanted to. And so when I started making my own money, I was spending it as quickly, or maybe not even before I even had it. I already knew how I was going to spend it. And not realizing that what I was doing really was I was allowing myself to buy into that whole mindset that I wasn't worthy, and that the only way anything that I got or achieved, I was only going to be worthy of it as long as I worked my, excuse expression, worked my ass off for it. And even then, I still didn't believe it. Whew, this is real tough, but it's something I needed to like get off my chest. And if you're going through this, guys, I want you to know the cost of perfectionism for me is that I'm getting in my own way of really achieving great success in what I do. Thank you, Monica. I appreciate that. I have to really get out of my own way because I'm holding myself back from doing great things. And I have a lot of great things in the pipeline, things that I can do for other people that I want to do. Just a lot of different adventures that I want to go on. And I need to understand that I'm worthy of the things that I want in my life. I'm worthy of success. I'm worthy of being a great coach. I know that I'm a great coach, and I'm worthy of saying that I'm worthy of that. But it's really understanding that I don't have to be perfect at every step of the way. Because when I strive for perfection is when I fall flat on my face. And I don't know if you can relate to that, but when I'm striving for perfection, I'm falling flat on my face. I'm not getting anywhere. All I'm doing is spinning my wheels, thinking that, hey, yeah, things are not going to be okay unless I make sure I have the perfect post or do the perfect video. And so I thought, you know what, today I'm not even going to write down anything I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to press live, and I'm going to go for it. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I appreciate you guys for coming on because, I sometimes need to lean on you guys. I want to be there for you and be the best coach that I can and be able to be the best person to empower you to be your best version. But I also have to understand that I don't have to be perfect while I'm doing that. And that my beliefs around that I'm worthy to have the things that I have in my life are fine, because as someone I know real dear, near and dear to me, Amanda, she's told me this affirmation, and I use it every day. I am enough as I am now, and I have to believe that I am enough as I am now. I am perfect as I am now. I am worthy and deserving of everything I desire to create. And if you are in that frame of mind where you need to remind yourself, then just start telling yourself that you are deserving, you are worthy, you are amazing, you are enough, and that you don't have to be perfect in order to achieve great things in your life. So I just wanted to come on here real quick and share that with you because I needed to get that off my chest. Now, if you're going through that and you want to talk about it, DM me, because I get it. Perfectionism, it can cost you a lot. But if you're willing to like just step outside of perfectionism and allow yourself your imperfect moments, because they are perfect, by the way, you are going to do great things with your life. So I just want to say that's it. I just want to say thanks, guys, for hopping on. I really appreciate it. I'll read a couple of your comments here. Nancy, it's amazing how our beliefs shape our life and hold us back from what we want in every aspect until you uncover them. Yes. And I think I'm uncovering them more and more every day, because find that when I'm doing that is when I'm getting the most growth. Monica, my grandfather used to tell me, save your money. So I believed if I didn't have money in the bank, I was failing. It would also make me feel guilty when I spent it. Yes, that's something else too. Before I hop off, one of the things too around money for me was I believed, because I said I felt like I got that belief around money that it's not going to stay. So my grandfather telling me to spend it because it's not, you can't take it with you, that I didn't have that respect for money. And so I felt like I had that negative thing around money that I might as well spend it because I've got it and it's not going to be there always. And I sometimes when I would spend money, something would happen. And so when something happened, I felt really bad because I spent money. So I was putting myself to feel really bad about spending something for myself, like buying myself even the smallest thing. But I would beat myself up for it, saying, now look, you've got yourself in a bind because now you spent that money. Now you got to go take that back because you got to figure out how to pay for this other thing. And so I felt like I was being punished because I wasn't privileged. And so would work even harder to be perfect, to show that I was perfect so that maybe I would have a better life. But yeah, it was costing me a lot. It was costing me my soul, really. Being perfect isn't everything. And like I said, your imperfect moments can turn out to be your most perfect moments. So if you're going through stuff right now, just know that you'll get through it. Know that life doesn't have to be perfect, that you don't have to be perfect, that you're good enough as you are right now. And that especially if you need, to talk to somebody, make sure that you have those people in your life that you can talk to, that you can lean on and say, hey, I'm going through this, or do something like this, like be brave and just hop on and just start talking, and you'll never know the beautiful people that are coming on, like even right now, and just supporting me and getting me through this. They could do the same for you. So, but if you're not feeling that you want to go on live, then just reach out to some of your closest friends, the girls or the guys in your life that really uplift, support, and encourage you, and just let them know how you're feeling. Because if you hold it in like I was doing for so long, and if you hold on to it like I was doing for so long, cost yourself a lot. And I don't want to do that anymore. So, anyways, I just want to say thanks for listening and giving me this platform to share with you. I appreciate you. And I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Bye, guys.